Okay, it is June 4th, 2014, 9:28 a.m. calling James Peters, attorney at law, Glenwood, Minnesota. He's on the Board of Education. He's the chairperson.
Good morning, this is Jim Peters.
This is Terry Numbers. How you doing today, Jim?
Good morning.
Yeah, I just was speaking to your Greg Schmidt before he hung up on me, and then he
Who
was
is this?
Terry Numbers. I graduated with you back in 1980.
Oh, Terry.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
Like the Harry Nimmers. I
No,
don't
no.
want Harry Nimmers.
No, Terry Numbers.
Okay, what's Greg Schmidt hanging up on you for?
Well, I submitted him a data request way back on April 6, 2014, and you know what? I submitted it to him and all of the board members, and he made the wild claim today before he hung up on me that he never received it. So,
I know I haven't seen it.
well, I just sent another one to Greg, and I had sent all your addresses, same addresses as before on it, and I didn't receive.
Email or mail, or how'd you send it?
I sent it email, and
okay.
and I never received an error message on it. So maybe your Greg Schmidt is destroying emails for the board members. But anyhow, what I did was I sent one to your office, so now you have it. So I want my data. It's real simple.
What are you looking for?
Well, I will tell you if you just hold on a second. What I need to know is it part of, this is what it says, is it part of your job description to interview and interrogate students at Minnewaska Area High School? What specific specialized training have you taken that qualifies you to interview and interrogate students at the Minnewaska Area High School, MAHS? And then I gave the Minnesota statute personnel data for work-related continuing education honors awards received. Are you trained in the READ technique of interviewing and interrogating? Yes or no. Are you trained in investigative interviewing approach of interrogation? Yes or no. Please provide me with the district's policy and procedure on interrogation of Minnewaska Area High School students. Send me a copy of the signed contract for local law enforcement to provide a school liaison officer. Contact information for MAHS board members. Home, work, cell phone numbers, and home address. So it's all reasonable information there, but obviously your Greg Schmidt is playing little childish games. So,
Well, either that or maybe the email went into a spam filter. But I don't think anybody plays games with data practices requests. Those have to be responded to, and the district will do that.
well, Jim, I hate to tell you this, but
I can try to find out and follow up on that and make sure that gets processed.
well, the thing is, I was speaking to your Greg Schmidt, and he said he was contacted by other principals who were asking who I was, and I have submitted a similar data request to like Douglas County, and they're playing little games, don't want to give me the data. In fact, I received a harassing phone call from their can't remember if it was superintendent or prince. Superintendent, yeah. And playing games, Pipestone and Morris schools. So I'm expecting little games. Oh, and Wells, where they expelled a student for bringing a knife into school, even though their chair of the school board, their little kitty, brought in a weapon too and wasn't expelled. So I'm well aware that, what you say and what actually will happen are usually two different things. So.
Well, you're already attributing that to me. I haven't talked to you in 25 years, and it sounds like you know all about me already here. But I know what Data Practices Act requests are.
Okay, well, you should be.
And I will follow up on this. But you got to make sure you get me a copy of this, because I have not received anything on a Data Practices Act request.
Well, I send it to your email address. I will verify with you, Jim at peterslawfirm.com. Is that your email address?
That's my law firm address, but I want you to send it to my school board address.
Well, I already sent it to your law firm address because you are also a school board member who is a lawyer. So
right, but I do ask people to direct my school board emails through my school board address.
Well, I already explained to you previously that I've sent 2 emails to you at your school address, and you claim you haven't received at least one. I just sent one.
Which school board address did you send it to?
I sent it to, let's see, where are you here? J. Peters at Minnewaska, K12MNUS.
Yep, that's it.
Well, then you should, then obviously you have it. I sent that one on April 6th.
I do not have it. It's probably spam filtered or I don't know, but I can guarantee you that I do not have that.
Well, if it's in your spam filter, then you do have it. So.
Well, I can check, but I haven't seen it, and I don't think it's there. But
well, I just sent.
I know what data practice is our request, so we'll respond to it. We'll process it. There was just a case that talked about the time frame for the procedures. So, when you make a complicated data practices request, it takes more time to assemble the data than it does if you're just asking for a copy of a teacher's license or something like that.
Well,
so if you're asking for a complicated request, then it's got to be organized and retrieved and responded to. Well, it will be.
These are simple questions to simple answers. I mean, simple questions, so there should be simple answers to them. A couple of them were yes and no, so that shouldn't be too hard to figure that out. And a contract, I mean, that's all you do is dig that up and ship it off. And I'm sure everyone has the contact information for the school board members. I mean, most school boards have them on their website. So, I mean,
right. Technically, you probably know that the way to make a Data Practices Act request is to find out who the Data Practices Officer is and send it to that person.
Well,
but I think sending it to the superintendent covers it.
Well, actually, I do believe your superintendent is the Data Compliance Officer.
There you go, Data Compliance Officer.
Yes, and Jim, I've sent data requests from one end of the state to the other, so I know how it works, and that's why I sent it to your office address, so we avoid the little game at the school there. So, because again, I was hung up on by your superintendent. I was also hung up on by one of your secretaries. So, I don't appreciate that.
I gotta tell you, your manner, Terry, is a little bit obnoxious right now. I bet you don't talk like this with your family. I mean, you're being very aggressive and you're being very kind of demanding. I haven't talked to you in 25 years, and you're kind of coming off like a jerk. I gotta tell you.
Well, Jim, I'm glad I'm recording the call then, so we can see who's the jerk then.
Yeah, that's fine, and that's probably a violation of the law too, to be recording a call without telling me.
Well, but, Jim, you're a lawyer. You know there is no law against recording calls in Minnesota as long as one party knows that they're being recorded. So.
And you didn't tell me until just now. So.
Well, I'm the party who knows it's being recorded.
Recording a violation of the law under your interpretation.
Well,
listen, we will get the response. We will organize the data, and we will get you a response.
Okay. Well, I expect my data, not a response. So let's make that clear right now, Jim.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
We'll get you your data.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate your help.
Yeah, well, again, next time I'd appreciate maybe if you were being a little more polite. Now, maybe you've been doing this for so long that you kind of feel like you need to be a bulldozer, and you need to be kind of obnoxious in your manner, Jim. And maybe that's what it takes. I don't know, but that's certainly the impression that I'm getting here.
Well, Jim.
And,
Jim, I know the difference between...
I don't really appreciate that. We'll get you your response, but...
Jim, I know the difference between aggressive and assertive, and I'm being assertive. So I'm asserting my rights.
People are hanging up on you, Terry. That might give you a clue that maybe you crossed the line from being aggressive to being assertive to being aggressive, assertive, and a little bit of maybe obnoxious.
Well, Jim, you can mischaracterize me all day long. That's fine. I have no problem with that.
I'm not mischaracterizing you. I'm telling you how I feel about it.
Well, Jim...
We'll get you your data, and you might also mail a copy of your data request to the school compliance officer just to make sure and send it maybe certified or registered so that we know that we've got it through.
Well, Jim, I'm not going to go the extra expense. You send emails. The minute...
Does the Data Practices Act law apply to emails?
Jim, All I have to do is call you up and tell you I want the information, and you are required to provide it to me. I only put it in an
You
email.
call the compliance officer, right?
Jim.
You call it teacher. Do they have to do it?
Jim, I'm explaining it to you right now. You're a board member. I can call you up and tell you I want the information, and I don't have to write it down. You have to write it down, and you have to provide it for me. If you don't, well then obviously you have zero concern for the law. That's real simple. So the thing is, I have done these data requests, over and over again. So I've submitted them from one end of the state to the other, and usually when you have problems is usually when there's a cover-up on the other end. So that's the thing. So again, you can mischaracterize my behavior all you want. The reality is you've had 2 different data requests submitted, and one has been willfully refused to be responded to. I've been hung up on. I can document all this, Jim. So again, all I expect you to do is to give me my data. I don't need a commentary on your part. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate your help.
You have a great day.
Yep, you too. Bye now.
Bye.